I think that we're ready to get started. So thank you for attending the State of Remote Work 2024 webinar today. Today, I will be presenting along with Stefano, one of our co-founders.
Hey everyone.
And then we're going to quickly run through the agenda for today's presentation, and then I'll hand it over to Stefano. So also just a side note, hopefully you saw my notes in the chat. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to ask them in the chat or with the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom. Also, please change your name within this webinar to your first name, last initial, if you'd like to participate in the raffle, which we will be doing at the end of the webinar. So to circle back to that, for today's agenda, we will be going over our 2024 remote work survey results. This is our second year in a row doing the survey, which is exciting to compare results to last year. And then after going through the survey results, we will do a quick NetBees remote monitoring presentation demo showing that what we can do to kind of help the issues shown in the survey. Then we'll do a quick Q&A if there are any questions, followed by the raffle. I think that's all I have, so I'll hand it over to you, Stefano.
All right. Thank you, Jess. And hi, everyone. Very excited to go over the result of the 2024 State of Remote Work Survey. Before I start, I want to share an appreciation to those of you that participated to the survey. Thank you really so much for doing that and for contributing to this effort. So I hope that the survey result we're going to unveil here will help you have a better understanding on what in the remote world is happening. Remote versus in office is still an ongoing debate, widely covered in the news, with some companies going back to in office while others staying remote or hybrid. The reality is that, as we'll see in the report, things are settling down, with some firms still being completely in office to a degree and others being hybrid or fully remote. So there is really a different degree between office and remote. The reality is that, as we'll see in the report, definitely things are settling down, which is good. There are not too many changes. So why don't we dig into the report results and start by talking about the participants that contribute to this report. So the survey participants encompass a diverse range of professional backgrounds and roles. Their functional roles span across engineering, technology, operations, and other roles. The majority hold job titles as network engineers, clearly NetBees, that's who we work mostly with, but there is also a good representation from directors, managers, with the executives and analysts making up smaller portions. The distribution across company size also varies, with a significant number representing mid-sized companies between 1,000 to 5,000 employees. But there is also a good representation of a smaller organization, as well as a large organization with 10,000 plus employees. So it's very good to see a pretty good degree of representation from all these portions. So let's dig into the survey. The findings depict definitely a prevailing trend towards flexibility, which is good to see in work arrangements among the companies surveyed. A significant majority embrace a hybrid work model, allowing a blend of remote and in-office work, while a notable portion solely operate in an office setting, and a similar percentage operate entirely remotely. So when we compare the stats from last year's responses, it appears that more organizations have switched to a fully remote environment, while the percentage of in-office respondents has remained stable at 16%. So how is this impacting the IT? Very important for, I'm sure, today's audience. Nevertheless, the shifting work policies have influenced the workload and challenges faced by IT support teams. A substantial portion of respondents, more than 50%, witness a consistent volume of support requests when compared to last year. And this is in line with the fact that really this shift to hybrid remote has pretty stabilized for years after the big, at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. Yet a notable number, around 27%, still experience an increase in tickets from users working remotely, indicating definitely a significant impact on the demand for IT help. And when we see the common complaints from remote employees, most of them center around connectivity issues with concerns about slow internet or application glitchiness or slowness and VPN problems. Those were at least the most prevalent issues. So now in the next slide, we're gonna see how these complaints match to actual root causes. So the actual root causes of these complaints are pretty much in line with the previous slide. As you see that the majority were related to ISP performance issues, but actually we also see Wi-Fi being one of the major problems faced by remote users, not surprisingly, and also followed by application-specific problems. Of course, we have also a portion of VPN, gateway issues, but those are the three main kind of root causes for remote employee complaints. Definitely these data, nevertheless, underscores an intensified challenges faced by IT support teams in addressing connectivity and performance issues arising from remote work setups, and really highlights a need for a robust solution to mitigate this concern effectively. So not too much time is spent troubleshooting and figure out what the problem is. But before discussing the solutions, let's talk about the technologies enabling remote work. Clearly, these survey results, as in 2023, still show the prevalent use of virtual private networks as the primary remote access technologies adopted by companies for their remote employees. And as I said, this is much in line with the last year survey responses, so no major changes. What the changes that we saw mostly is in the secondary methods. Still a notable percentage use a regular internet connection for enterprise network access, followed by SASE or Secure Access Service Edge and Remote Access Point. Actually, SASE, it looks like again 3 to 4 points from last year responses, showing an increased adoption and traction of these technologies. So let's talk about the solution to addressing remote employees' problems. And that's where Digital Experience Monitor comes into play. We asked the surveys how many of them were implementing or have implemented a digital experience monitoring solution to address remote user issues. And also in this case, we saw that a significant portion, around 45%, are already using a solution, a digital experience monitoring solution, and 33% having planned to use, and only 22% they don't have any plans, at least in the near to medium term. So that's interesting to see. That the adoption keeps progressing of DM, and the kind of value is clear because among those that have implemented digital experience monitoring, we also ask to cite what is the primary benefits, and the responses that got, of course, included the reduction of troubleshooting time, so less time chasing a ghost or finding what is the root cause, simplification of issue resolution, right? You don't need to escalate to L2, L3 engineers, something that maybe the level 1 can do. And of course, minimizing ticket escalation to higher support levels, being the third most important value of digital experience monitoring. So nevertheless, this result highlights the value of proactively monitoring remote users' digital experience as a way not only to troubleshoot faster and better, but also to optimize support processes, reduce costs, right? Because each ticket has a dollar bill attached to it, especially if the more escalation that ticket goes through and the higher the bill. But overall is also enhancing the end user productivity, providing better services. Think about, remote contact center agents that they cannot afford, of course, to have performance issues when assisting customer on a phone line. Very good. So with this concludes at least the core part of the survey report. And again, you will receive a copy after this webinar of the 2024 State of Remote Work report, but it's also available for download if you want to share with other peers or colleagues. And at this point, we want to highlight quickly NetBees as a digital experience monitoring solution that can be used for your remote end user experience. NetBees is a simple to use, easy to deploy solution that gets installed on Windows or Mac-based desktop or laptops, and that's what we call the remote worker agent. It support mass deployment with the SCCM or Intune, of course. And then there is the dashboard component where the network administrator that manage NetBees configure the applications or targets that needs to be monitored, because those are the applications consumed by the end users. So that's where you configure tests against Microsoft Office, Slack, Zoom, or any 8x8 VoIP over IP cloud or on-prem solution that your remote user use. By doing so with few simple clicks, you have network monitoring, performance test, originating from the laptop, from the end user perspective to all your apps, whether are internal or third-party SaaS. And by doing so, this test continuously verify also the wireless performance and connectivity status, the internet and the ISP speed with the network speed test, for instance, but also path analysis to understand if there is an outage or a problem along the path between the remote user house to the network of destination, whether it's a third-party provider or so on. And in a simple way, really now IT support has a clear understanding of if there are issues. It can be easy to understand if it's a PC performance issue, a VPN issue perhaps, an ISP issue, or an application issue, and so on. So all those root causes that we covered in the previous slide are easily identifiable in the NetBees dashboard with a few steps. Well, if you want to learn more about NetBees, clearly you know where to find us, netbees.net. You can request a demo and have one of our sales rep to help you in the evaluation, or you can also do start your own free trial, 14-day free trial. So netbees.net. So to wrap it up and conclude the closing remarks of this session, there are really three takeaways from this session I hope you're going to walk away with. First of all, there is a clear prevalent trend towards hybrid work models. So that is clearly the future. As you see, there is a striking majority of respondents that are working a mix of hybrid or remote, fully remote work. Second, nevertheless, this shift has increase the load on IT, and most of the support requests are really centered around connectivity issues related to ISP, related to the application, and related to also the PC sometime performance. And lastly, we saw the importance of monitoring the digital experience of remote employees to really address in an efficient and effective way these problems. And we also show the benefit of a digital experience monitoring solution, and also mention a little bit about NetBees. So with that, Jess, I am done for the main part of the webinar, and I think we can open to Q&A if we have any.